Welcome back to the Villarreal series, everyone. We've got two games today, one away at the Bernabeu against Real Madrid in the league, and then a Champions League match against Leipzig, which might sound fairly easy, but we're actually really struggling after the first leg, and we could go out of the Champions League already in only the first knockout round. Add on to that the fact that we've lost two massive players to release clauses and then spent £100 million on another player to replace them. There's a lot to get into in this video, so let's run the intro and get right into it. We've got a lot to get into in today's Villarreal episode, everybody, so I won't stick around too long. Like I say, transfer updates, a few months have passed since you last saw us, even a general channel update, because you might see we've got a new camera. I'll speak more about that later, but before we get into all of that, the usual stuff, if you guys could bear with me and like the video if you do enjoy, it really does help in pushing the videos out to as many people as possible. So hit that button, forget you ever did it, and it will really help on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already as well. I'll put the percentage on screen, but so many people this distance into the series still aren't subscribed. I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit that button. It will get us closer to our aim of 10,000 subscribers. Discord in the description. Put a comment if you want to get involved down below. I'll reply to everyone that I can. And that is everything that we need to cover in what's going to be a jam-packed episode. So let's quickly give you a whistle-stop tour of Villarreal. So we beat Sociedad in the last episode. After that, we had two games in the Super Cup where we beat Sociedad and Sevilla to take our first trophy of the season. But I think most Spanish football fans would agree it wasn't really that important of a competition. Then we went on to win a couple of games, lose to Espanyol in the league, and then lose in the next league game to our rivals Valencia 3-0 away from home, which was made even worse 3 days later, losing to Valencia in the Cup and getting knocked out. It was a bit of a tough run there, a loss, another loss, and a loss in extra time, but we started to pull it back. We got a few wins in a row. Then we played Leipzig, and it's not the end of the world, but we looked absolutely terrible in this game. It looks like we stood absolutely no chance of beating them. It ended up being a 0-0 draw, and now going away to them, a team that's second in the Bundesliga, it does worry me a little bit that we might struggle here. I mean, they're way off the pace compared to first place Bayern Munich, but I am a bit worried, to be fair, about how this game might go. It is interesting to see Dortmund solo down in the league table there, but yeah, I think it could be a pretty tough game today away from home, but hopefully we can make it through. It's actually two matches that we might potentially lose today. They're by no means guaranteed wins, especially when we lose two of our key players to release clauses. Now, one of them you might be thinking about already, Alejandro Francis, who's had a few bids in previous episodes. It finally happened. He did go and leave the club. He had offers from a variety of teams and chose to go to Barcelona. £40 million is all we got for this guy because of his release clause. If you don't remember, I negotiated a new deal with a release clause much higher than this that was going to kick in at the start of next season. It couldn't kick in now due to wage limits at the club, even though Barcelona are spending 4 times the amount that we are on wages. And we lost him in the end. He's gone to Barcelona. I'm sure he'll do well there, but he was a big part of our side and a big loss. Now, he could kind of be replaced. We didn't actually go for anyone because we had Pierre Kalulu at the club, but there's one player that was just a massive loss to the side, someone I did not want to lose. Again, release clause. Frank Kessie has left the club to Manchester United. We got a good transfer fee though, £82 million is what took him off of our hands. In terms of transfer business, it's a very good turnaround considering he played under 50 league appearances for us, but he was a massive part of what we did in this side, particularly in that box-to-box role. And it's very hard to replace a man like Frank Kessie, but when you've got that kind of money for a player, plus the Francis money, there's only one guy I could find on the market who actually, I feel, not just replaced Kessie, but maybe was a better player than him. We haven't used him too much yet because he has been injured since we signed him. He's only played one game very recently and then got injured again. It's Jude Bellingham. He has somehow joined Villarreal here in a midfield of Jude Bellingham and Bruno Fernandes in only our third season at the club. I think it's a great signing. £97 million might seem like a lot. It's a release clause fee, but he's only 20 years of age still. Physicals, mentals and technicals, all exceptional. And he does that job of replacing Kessie, arguably improves on Kessie, and also is 8 years younger than Kessie and will make us even more money in the future. Without the release clause, he would have cost 150, 200 million, something like that. So I think that's a good bit of business on our end. And our replacement for Francis was this guy, Gustavo from Real Madrid. Not really a replacement, but Kalulu is going to take up Francis's game time. We've got Mingueza and Hummels to help out along the way, and Gustavo will probably play 2 or 3 games here and there. But I decided not to really go for an all-out replacement to Francis just yet. in the January transfer window because all the transfer fees were inflated, no one wanted to sell, and it left us in a bit of a rut. But in good form now, we're ready to take on this Real Madrid game, which if we win, checking out the league table, we'll pull pretty far away at the top of the table, and I'd like to think we'd be favourites from there on out. I mean, Sociedad have fell away. Barcelona and Real Madrid with 7 points clear of. Obviously, a loss to Real would change that, but it's a good points total to have, 6 points ahead of our rivals and second place team Valencia. If we can keep on top of that and make sure we get the league title, that'll be brilliant, but we need to push on in the Champions League and push on in general. We have been winning a few games, but we need to be playing a lot better than we have done. So here's a team to face off against Real Madrid. Kepa starts in goal, Ignacio Torres and Zagadou at the back. Zagadou starting because Kalulu's out amongst a few other players who are missing today. Rosas at right wing back, Lamptey at left wing back, Bruno Fernandes in the midfield with Kenneth Wynn, Parejo's out injured, Bellingham's out injured, and we don't have too many options outside of that, but hopefully the youngster can play pretty well for us. We've got Yeremy Pino on the right hand side, Danjuma and Giori. Yeremy Pino is an interesting one. There's a very good chance he might leave the club in the summer because Manchester City in the media, in Football Manager, are being linked with like £100 million move. And it says at the bottom that he'd be extremely interested in joining and would take a lot of convincing to remain at the club. His release clause is somewhere over the 100 million mark, so I'd be fairly confident that Real Madrid won't activate that. Not Real Madrid, sorry, Manchester City. So hopefully we can hold on to him, but we do stand the chance of upsetting a pretty big player in our side. But on another note, outside of Football Manager, you might see that the camera looks a little bit differently. I've actually got a new camera, which is a massive improvement on my last one, in my opinion, and also in terms of actual specs. I was basically using a cheap 20 quid Amazon camera. I'm very happy with the performance so far, but do let me know if it looks odd, if you think anything's wrong with it, but by all means, it should be a lot better quality than what we did have previously. I just need to adjust the lighting a little bit going forward and play with some of the settings as well, because I think the lighting might be a bit off, but do let me know if it looks fine for you. As a side note, with 45 minutes pretty much into the game, it's 0-0, and you might have saw that Lamptey went off injured there. We've replaced him with Grimaldo, but it's been a very quiet match up to this point, and I'm not complaining too much. At the Bernabeu, if we can take a 0-0 draw, it's a point. It keeps us the same length away from Real Madrid. Hopefully Valencia will slip up somewhere along the way, despite the fact that they are in excellent form currently. Just the one thing I don't want is to have a loss. But here we go. We might be breaking from a corner, although Giori has pretty much a whole side ahead of him defending that goal. Kenneth Wynn with a good ball forward though. He's very good at those incisive passes. Finds Rosas. It's great play from us, but we do give it away. And our Benzema is going to lead the charge going forward. Out of contract this summer at Real Madrid. I have been keeping an eye on that. Don't think I'll go for him, but it's interesting that he is going to be leaving, but is still leading the line for Real at the age of what? He must be like 36 at this stage, I would have thought. But here we go. Kenneth Wynn, what a weird pass that was. That was going absolutely nowhere. No one was even going to run onto that, but the highlight still continues. The first highlight of the game, and it is a long one. Grimaldo to the back post to Yeremy Pino. Is someone going to make a break into the middle? Rosas, Kenneth Wynn, back to Rosas. It's a very, very well worked goal. Very, it's a very well worked goal. There you go. It's a very hard word to say as well, but that was great play. Kenneth Wynn this time gets the ball right. I thought he was going to take a shot, but the youngster decided to stop through Rosas. Only 17 years of age still, Kenneth Wynn. And what a player he is. It's a great ball and a brilliant finish actually from Rosas. No stopping that from the goalkeeper. And it's interesting that when we've got 4 wing-back options of Grimaldo, Pedraza, Lamptey and Rosas, you wouldn't expect Rosas to be the best of the 4, but he has been miles clear this season. Lamptey has been the second best, even though he's been pretty appalling at times. And because he's been second best, he's been playing on the left-hand side, despite the fact that he's a right wing-back. Our 2 left wing-backs, Grimaldo and Pedraza, I don't think they've hit over a 7 average match rating across the course of the whole season. It's been really tough for them, and it is the reason why I am looking for a replacement in that position. We might have just scored, but I'm not getting my hopes up because I feel like Pau Torres was very far offside. But if we score here, it's a massive step towards getting our hands on the title, and it has been awarded. Thanks to my new camera, I can actually see behind it now and see whether a goal has been awarded or not. He looked miles off Pau Torres there, but we're not going to complain. Let's have a check though. Oh, you know what? He's done all right there. Fair play. Right, we've made it through 2-0. There's not long left of the game, so I should make some substitutions. Obviously, we made one already, but in terms of resting players for the next match, I'm thinking Ignacio should probably come off. We'll bring on Pedraza there. move people across slightly, and even though it says he's not suited to that role, I know he can do it fairly well. And then we'll bring Despodov on up top for Giori, just give him a few minutes to run and give Giori a little bit of a rest because he will be leading the line for us against Leipzig as long as he doesn't get injured. But I think that is another position where we will look for a replacement player next summer. Up top, left wing back, they're the main positions I'll be looking for a big signing. I say next summer, if we win the Champions League this year, this series will be over and we won't have to do any of that. But I've still got a plan ahead because, to be honest, we don't look like the kind of team that's just going to walk to a Champions League title. It's going to be a really hard battle to get there and we'll see how long it takes. But first step will be beating Leipzig in today's episode. But let's focus on the Real Madrid game right now. With 3 minutes to go, we should be cruising away with a win. But if Real score now, it will get pretty interesting. But Benzema skies the shot. And that should be that really for the game. I can't see us conceding 2 goals in such little time. We'll take the 3 points and that means we are now running away with the league. Obviously it would depend on Valencia's result, but it does kind of make it a 2-horse race now between us and Valencia. The 2 clubs beginning with a V in Spain. One of us is looking like we're going to get the title. But you're being treated to 2 games today, so let's forward ahead to the Leipzig match and get right into that one. So it's game day against Leipzig, but just before we get into that, I did mention that we had a youth intake come through. It's not actually came through yet, but we got the little report that comes back at the start. And somehow, I don't know how, but we've got golden generation yet again. That might change by the time these players come through, but that's 3 youth intakes in a row where we've had either 5-star or 4.5-star intakes. I've knew nothing like it. We've apparently got a good striker coming through, which is awesome because I would absolutely love that. Also, a good fullback coming through is great. Hopefully, it's a left wing back, but it looks like it's going to be a right-sided player. We've got a good winger coming through, which I'm assuming is this left-sided player here, and then one good central midfielder as well as an abundance of attacking midfielders. I'd very much like a wing back and a centre back, but it doesn't look like we're getting that exactly. But anyway, it's something to look forward to. I'm sure next episode you'll be seeing, hopefully, a new golden generation of wonder kids at the club. And before you know it, we're going to have a full team led by youth intake players. Obviously, Kenneth Wynn is a great player in the centre of midfield, but I want to point out this guy as well, who we gave a chance to in a couple of games so far. Bakary Undore also came through in the same one as Kenneth Wynn. He has 5-star potential. I'm unsure if he'll ever reach it, but he's an absolutely brilliant passer of the football, a Gambian wonder kid pretty much coming through our academy. I wouldn't have expected it at the start of a save, but I'm not going to complain at all. But let's pick our side for Leipzig. Kepa in goal, Kalulu, Ignacio and Pau Torres is our ideal back line. Lamptey is out for 4 weeks, so we're going for Rosas and Grimaldo at left wing back. Bruno Fernandes starts with Jude Bellingham next to him, who they've said is fit enough to play, so we're going to go for it, even if his match sharpness isn't too high. These are the kind of games, even if he isn't fully fit, but we need to use him in. If it doesn't work out, we've got Kenneth Wynn on the bench ready to come on. I'm actually going to put Giori up top, and we're going to go with, I was going to say Despodov, but if he's out, it'll be Danjuma again. This is the side I'm going for. Sometimes I do look at this side and think how I'm expecting to challenge for a Champions League, particularly with players like Giori, Danjuma, Grimaldo starting. Even though they are good players, I'm just not sure if they're the guys who are going to guide us to a Champions League in this save, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Let's get right into the match. Right, we want everyone to pick off where they left off last time out, which was a good win against Real Madrid, of course. But we'll see how this goes. Interesting thing to note about Leipzig is in the last leg and also this leg, they pretty much match up to our formation, although where we have wide players, they have 2 attacking midfielders behind the striker. An early goal would do us the world of good. Pau Torres heads it over to Barvo, and I'm very interested to see how this game will play out, if it will be another boring 0-0, because when I say the first leg was boring, I'm not even sure there was a highlight, but at least we've had one so far. But we do have another one now with Leipzig in control of the ball. Hopefully we can win it back though, and Kalulu does exactly that, finds Jeremy Pino. If we can build this up nicely, I mean, an early goal would be absolutely fantastic for us. Here's Danjuma, who's picked up a knock, which is slightly worrying, but Jeremy Pino is through. He takes the shot. What a goal from Jeremy Pino. That has got to be Champions League goal of the season. He receives it, takes a touch, and then chips it with his weak foot over the goalkeeper. Actually, it is a strong foot, isn't it? But still, what a ball from Danjuma in the first place. Jeremy Pino brings it down, and then with his next touch, loops the goalkeeper right in the top corner. No saving that. Jeremy Pino with the chip. This is a man that we might lose in the summer, but he's someone that I think will be captain of the club if he decides to stay. 21 years old, already a massively influential player. Came through the Villarreal Academy as well, I believe. I really hope he sticks around, but let's see how this game goes now. With a 1-0 advantage, it will cause Leipzig to come out a little bit more, and as a team that seemingly looks like they like to defend, I don't know how this is going to go from here on out, but here's Emerson, drives it just wide of the post. That was a good chance for the right wing back. Kepa looked like he was lost a little bit there, but it hasn't gone in, and we have made it out alive of that attack. Although Leipzig seems to be the one with the most XG and the most chances, we're keeping the ball, and even though Yerry Pino's chip had no XG involved, it was a great finish, and Danjuma is now too injured to play football. Maybe a bad decision on my end to keep him on, but he got us that assist, and that's all that matters in my eyes. Instead of bringing Alex Baena on, which would be the obvious choice, I've actually opted to go for Jared Moreno up top and Giori on that left wing. Just feel like that might be better for us in this game. I'm not sure Giori's having too much luck up front in this match and in recent matches, so maybe Jared Moreno will be the difference. But here's Rosas, finds Bruno Fernandes. A second goal will be brilliant because it does look like Leipzig will carry some threat this game. Here is Giori from that inside position. It's blocked out to Rosas. We're looking a bit more dangerous now. And I don't know why we're seeing this highlight because that looks like a standard free kick. Don't think Mariba's going to get sent off for that. Unless we're now going to score from this free kick, I don't know. We'll soon see. Bruno Fernandes does have a great delivery on him. If we can get our head to this, could be massive for this tie and getting us into the next round. And we have worked it into a goal. Jared Moreno knocking it on to Amin Giori in the middle there. I don't feel like he was offside, but we'll soon see. Please count. It's been awarded. Right, that's brilliant. 2-0 up, away from home against Leipzig. This is much better. A well-worked goal with our substitute combining with the player who we moved in position. Excellent, excellent management on my end there. That's all down to me, of course. 2-0 up. Half-time. Let's drop some praise in there. We've had a lot of shots on target, which I'm not sure is true, but the assistant manager has said so. And you know what? 5 shots. We've suddenly improved our on-target ratio, and that's much better. You should argue that maybe we shouldn't be 2-0 up here, but I'll absolutely take it. It looks like the Leipzig defence isn't having the best of days, and providing they don't score now, I'll make some changes, and hopefully we can just see the game out. But it's a Champions League match. It's never over, is it? We'll soon see though. 3-0 would be massive for us. Here's Ignacio winning the header. Powerful jump. Wins the ball. Grimaldo's ended up with it. Passing it to Pau Torres. Keeping the ball nicely. Bellingham for the first time really seeing him in a video. He hasn't done too much. Great ball from Giori. Bruno Fernandes probably should have finished that off, but you know what? We'll let him off. He is one of the best players in the world in this simulation, so we can forgive him when he does miss the odd opportunity. But this far into the game, I think we are going to look to make some changes. Kenneth Wynn has came on for Bruno. Yerry Pino is going to come off for Caden McLaughlin. And then we've already made the other substitution, haven't we? Bad decision from me there because I was going to take Bellingham off so that he didn't get injured again. And we don't end up wasting 97 million on a man who spends a whole year injured. But he's going to have to stick it out now. Oh, Kenneth Wynn. He doesn't score often. I don't even know if he's ever scored from open play, Kenneth Wynn. And that would have been a brilliant goal for him. But he does miss. It was good build-up. But when he gets that kind of chance, you expect him to bury it. Bellingham, though, has had a good game. He's just got to survive 3 more minutes without getting injured. And this will be a very successful video in a transition inside, dealing with Kessie leaving, Alejandro Francis leaving. These were players I considered key to our main starting 11. That's poor from Kenneth Wynn, losing out to Gvardiol. Mariba slides through this guy whose name I'm not even going to try and pronounce. Tyler Adams is in, and with a very easy chance on goal, he hits it wide. Kepa, again, I don't know what part of the goal he was trying to cover, but that man will be fine as long as he keeps his clean sheet. And it's a name from the past, Boulaye Dia, who gets the goal against us here. It's suddenly forwarded ahead, so maybe it hasn't counted. It doesn't look like it has. I thought that should have been a goal, but no, it's been disallowed. But Boulaye Dia seemingly has came on against us, and with 30 seconds left on the clock, hopefully this is just an end of the game highlight. And yeah, we've won. We're through to the quarterfinals, but where do we go from here? Do we really look like the kind of team you think who could go and win a Champions League this season? I don't know. Obviously, the Champions League comes a lot down to luck and performances on an individual match, who you get drawn against and all of that stuff. But I just don't feel like right now the team is at the level where we'd come up against a PSG and I'd go, oh yeah, we'll be fine. We've got a good chance here. Because even against a team like Leipzig, no offence to them, I'm coming up against them and thinking, oh, this is over, isn't it? We're not going to get through. So yeah, that's slightly worrying. These are the kind of teams that we think we might lose against when we've got a lot harder to come. But we did it. The team proved me wrong. A 2-0 win against Leipzig, a 2-0 win against Real Madrid. Very impressive. Inter Milan have apparently knocked Arsenal out, so that's pretty good because I feel like we can take Inter 4th in the Serie A. Arsenal we probably could have taken as well, but just for reference, there you go, they have gone out. PSG knocked out Chelsea, Juventus knocked out Ajax, Liverpool knocked out Milan, Sociedad and Roma, either one could go through. Monaco are through against Benfica, Inter are through, and then one of Man City and Bayern are going to get knocked out. So I guess we'll see what happens from there on out, but that's a good performance from us, a good video, and I'll see you next episode, guys, where hopefully we'll have an amazing youth intake and a Champions League quarterfinal to show you. So have a great day. Thank you for watching. Thanks for all the support on the series and everything that we do, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.